Now at 6, breaking news on a fatal standoff in Independence. What we know about why police officers opened fire, and a proposed data center in Wilmington receiving further pushback. Residents say they still have questions for officials. Plus, major news for Reds fans. A big bat could soon be returning to the Queen City. Yeah, thanks so much for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sean Delancey. We do begin with that breaking news. Kentucky State Police confirming with us just a little over an hour ago that they were investigating after police officers shot and killed a man in Independence. KSP says that Independence and Kenton County Police were both responding to a call from 62-year-old David Works, who was threatening self-harm at his house on Sharpsburg Drive. They tried to make contact with Works, and he came out later with a firearm, they say. KSP says officers then fired their weapons and hit Works. They tried to save him with first aid, but they say they were unsuccessful. KSP says that no officers were injured in this. Their critical incident team is investigating. Also new tonight, Colerain Township Police tell us that they've arrested 2 people in connection with the stabbing death of Christopher Tanner on January 21st. 43-year-old Terrell Bailey is facing charges of murder and tampering with evidence. 44-year-old Shanice Shade has been charged with tampering with evidence and obstructing justice. Police say late on the 21st, they were called to the Prime at White Oak apartment complex on Nandale Drive. They found Tanner with multiple stab wounds, and he later died at the hospital. Next, residents in Wilmington are trying to educate each other on a proposed Amazon data center in the city. We've been covering this story for months as residents have pushed back against the project. WCPO 9 News reporter Sam Harris-Simowitz was at the town hall this afternoon, led by a group of neighbors who were looking for answers. Now, we have been covering data centers in communities like Hamilton, Maysville, and of course there in Wilmington. Many residents are concerned about these data centers. They've been talking to reporters like Sam Harris-Simowitz, and you can too. You can go ahead and send him an email using the address right there on your screen. He wants to hear about the experience in your corner of the tri-state. Well, next, construction is set to begin on a $16 million outpatient center in Union this month. The Christ Hospital Health Network says it will be at the corner of US 42 and Mount Zion Road, and it will likely be done in fall of next year. The facility will offer expanded primary care, cardiology care, women's health services, and diagnostics and lab services. Well, turning now outside, let's bring in meteorologist Mark Stitz. Mark, every morning for the last couple of mornings, I've been wanting to look outside and see some grass, and it's still just a frozen tundra.
Even if we saw the grass, I think it would be more brown grass than green grass out there. And we've got a long ways to go before we even see that.
Well, tonight we're learning more about President Trump's immigration crackdown amid ongoing protests. A 5-year-old boy is now back with his father. They're both back in Minneapolis. A judge ordered their release from a detention center in Texas. ABC's Morgan Norwood has reaction from the Trump administration. Coming up, we're getting an idea of just how long this federal partial government shutdown could last, what leadership on both sides of the aisle want to see heading into a vote on funding. And help with heating bills may be coming to people in Indiana, how new legislation could ease costs for seniors, and where that funding might come from.
You're watching WCPO 9, part of the Scripps News Group.
The partial government shutdown is now in its second day, and it's expected to stretch into this week. Democratic leaders say that they are not in a rush to pass the Senate-approved funding package as the party demands changes to immigration enforcement operations. On Friday, the Senate and President Trump struck a deal to separate Homeland Security funding from their package, giving lawmakers 2 weeks to negotiate those details. House Speaker Mike Johnson says it'll be a few days before a vote comes up in the House, but told Fox News he's confident the package will pass by Tuesday. And a warning for air travelers: if you do not have a real ID yet, it may cost you at the airport. Starting today, flyers will have to pay a $45 fee in order to use TSA's new Confirm ID program. It's for people who do not have the real ID or another acceptable form of identification. The process can take up to 30 minutes, and it gives travelers an alternative ID that can be used for a 10-day travel period. You can find more details about the new system on the TSA's website. Well, coming up in sports, a new Bengal added to the roster for this week's Pro Bowl. Plus, could Major League hitter Eugenio Suarez return to the Reds? ESPN reports a huge deal is in the works. And a hard-earned reunion for one family after their dog is rescued from a well. How long the poor puppy was there and what first responders did to get him out. As we all continue to deal with extreme cold, you're probably turning up your heat to stay warm, but not everyone can afford to do so. A new bill moving through the Indiana State House looks to help with that. House Bill 1002 would require electrical utility suppliers to provide assistance programs to low-income households no later than July 1st of this year. Each company would dedicate roughly $1.5 million each year. It comes as area charities say that they've seen a 200% increase of seniors who need assistance.
We are getting multiple phone calls a day concerning that we can't afford our light bill, we can't afford our gas bill. So just an increase in numbers and this new way of doing lights for companies to save money is hurting our seniors.
Well, the bill has passed through the Indiana House and is now headed to the Senate. We have energy assistance programs here in the Cincinnati area, but they're not being used. Our consumer reporter Taylor Nemo put together a guide for some programs based in Ohio and Cincinnati, even a program through Duke Energy. It walks you through how to qualify and how to apply. You can find it right now on WCPO.com. I'll tell you what, I really love this next story. The Butler County Technical Rescue Team pulled off a wild rescue this morning of a dog that had fallen nearly 30 feet down a well in St. Clair Township. I called up the team's commander to find out how they did it. Chief Jason Nolman tells me that they had to cut a hole in the family's floor to get direct access into the shaft. Rigging and ladders into the hole were deteriorated, so they set up a tripod capable of holding rescue specialist Cody Helmuth and the dog, allowing them to be hoisted to the surface. Nolman says that the family has been looking for this dog since Thursday and had even employed a drone team to look for him before they heard him in the well this morning. He tells me it was a big sigh of relief when Blue was out of the well and reunited with his family.
The real risky part of this is over. And then watching the family's reaction, they were waiting with a blanket. I said, let's move up here so the dog comes out. You can get the dog and the dog can calm down a little bit. And obviously they were elated to have their dog back. This has been such an event for them.
All right, Blue was taken to a vet to be checked out, but they expect him to be okay. Nolman tells me that the technical rescue team does 20 to 30 operations like this every year, and they don't all turn out with a happy ending. He's really happy that this one did. Well, I tell you what, Mark, I feel like the dog would have been found earlier if there was a Timmy involved that could say Lassie fell down the well, but when Lassie's already down there, what do you do?
I'm just so happy that one had a good ending.
Absolutely.
Love a good dog story.
Yeah, and the video of him getting ratcheted out of there, it's just really incredible. They do great work with those teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of effort and training.
Especially in the cold when you're doing all this.
Oh, I know. They're probably happy that the hole was inside the home, a little bit warmer than a lot of their jobs.
We talked about that.
But out there.
Thanks, Mark. With temps like that, it is really hard to believe that baseball season is rapidly approaching and new at 6, a major break for the Reds. Slugger Eugenio Suarez could return to Cincinnati as a designated hitter. ESPN reports that the Reds and Suarez are on an agreement on a 1-year, $15 million contract for the 2027 season. Suarez has most recently played for the Mariners. He played for the Reds from 2015 to 2021. A lot of people really wanted a big bat for the Reds this year, and at the very least, the team looks like they took a big swing here with Suarez. And Houday Nation is getting some representation in the Pro Bowl, and with a new addition today, the Bengals announced Joe Burrow has now been added to the roster, marking his 3rd time in the Pro Bowl games. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Flacco are also in San Francisco, getting hyped up to play on the AFC team with all the other stars. This is Higgins and Flacco's first career Pro Bowl selection, and the players are reporting back today from sunny California.
What's up, Houday Nation? It's my first Pro Bowl. Out here having fun, man. It's for Cincy, man. Shout out y'all.
What's going on, Houday Nation? Jamar Chase checking in at the Pro Bowl in San Francisco. We out here finna have a good time, a great time. Hopefully get a win right now. Houday.
Level 4 wide receivers. Not often you get to send 2 quarterbacks to the Pro Bowl. You can watch the Pro Bowl games on ESPN starting at 6:30 p.m. this Tuesday. Well, the Miami Red Hawks are celebrating another win this weekend to stay perfect. They're now 22-0 this season. Miami was down by 5 in the second half to NIU, then went on a 38-9 run to close the game. They were down by 5 late and then won by 24 points. Our sports anchor, Caleb Noe, asked head coach Travis Steele what he felt led to the dominant late game run. A really cool tidbit about this game. This was the largest home crowd the team has ever played for in the history of this arena. Millett Hall was built 58 years ago. And hey, if you want to go to the next NKU basketball game, go ahead and listen up. The Fort Mitchell branch of the Hawksworth Blood Center is running a special incentive to get donors. If you donate at that location today or tomorrow, you'll get a free voucher for 2 NKU tickets. That's according to our partners over at Lincoln KY. You do need to register before you show up. You can do so at Hawksworth's website. We'll be right back. Today is a great day for some soup, and that's exactly what people came together for at the Wise Temple Brotherhood in Cincinnati. This afternoon was the Temple's annual chicken soup cook-off, where 8 amateur chefs and 11 professional chefs faced off in several soup categories. Leaders with the Temple say helping feeding people is part of community building.
Great event, lots of people that are members of the Temple, as well as outside people that are interested in just, you know, getting something warm in their bellies on a cold day like today.
300 to 400 people got to taste the creations, and at the end, about 300 gallons of soup was donated to House of Bread, a local soup kitchen. And it really is just soup weather out there, chilly weather as well. But
absolutely.
Yes,
I think that guy we interviewed had some soup because he was outside without a coat on during that interview.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Low 20s today, which was warmer, but not quite there yet for me for not having a coat. Our little mini warm-up continues Monday and Tuesday with low 30s. Remember, that's still 10 below average. Of course, tomorrow, Groundhog Day as well. So who knows? Maybe spring starts soon.
It all rides on the groundhog. Well, that'll do it for WCPO 9 News at 6 on this Saturday. Join us again tonight at 11 at WCPO.com. Take it easy, everybody.